Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mass Effect 2 stream. The best game in the series, obviously. But what really matters is, I want to kind of skip through this because we actually started streaming an hour ago and then we had some tech issues. So forgive me for sounding a little bit like I'm repeating myself, because I am. But I do want to say shoutouts. And thank you to Nero, Shadow Machine, Zopher, Shishki, Candyman 1990, Commander Conquer 2, Dr. Winter, Cord, Catalin Cormendi, Dopefish, SDR, Verdian Toast, Sonashi, Colgrim, Ciela, Kai Snow, James Hogan, Captain Vice, Narset, Indiana Joe, Sean, Oculus, Jordan Freemeyer. I just noticed Sean donated literally $1 to this. Ankros, Jesse's Mask, Jonathan Book, G. Cormos, Ben Smack, Johnny Bigby, Francesco Bianchi, The Blackout 00, Tonic the Dog Tour, Michelle Kathleen Hodgson, Seraphim Altanio, Pika, Chaotic Danny, the person who put this game on the lists, which is me, and our majority shareholder, which is Max. By the way, I actually have some info on this one. This game took 208 days to fund, which is actually kind of short. That's definitely below average as far as these go. So, woo. All of you asking me what the problem is, don't worry about it. All right, so negative to gameplay, audio issues. Moving on. Oh, and speaking of which, thank you, Oxymoron, very much. I've put that down for whatever you mentioned. I wrote it down. Modern Warfare 1, that's what it was. Thank you very much. And no, it wasn't actually my issue. But the problem is I did about 3 fixes at once, and I have no idea which one worked. But one of them did. The average time for a game to be funded is roughly 1 year. Anywhere from 360 to 400 days. So, all that should be fine, which it is. Whoops. Okay. Hey, that's not what I was trying to do. So we're gonna Alt F4 the game. Start over. Because I know from experience, you actually can't skip that cutscene. It's the only unskippable cutscene in the entire game. It's that very initial one. You can skip everything else. Import. Let me actually change settings this time, game. So, Rex survived. Ashley was killed. No, my one true love. Council was killed. And Anderson is on the council. We are a Paragon, apparently. That's all it keeps track of. We're an engineer, so I guess we're sticking with engineer because we can't change that, so that's whatever. Okay, just double checking. Now we can continue. This game. Oh, and I can't Alt-Tab during this game because it mutes. Check it out. So that sucks.
Shepard did everything right. More than we could have hoped for.
Commander Shepard uncovered the truth.
And still, it's not enough.
We're at war. No one wants to admit it, but humanity is under attack.
But they're sending him to fight Geth. Geth. We both know they're not the real threat. The Reapers are still out there.
And it's up to us to stop them.
The Council will never trust Cerberus. They'll never accept our help, even after everything humanity has accomplished. But Shepard... They'll follow him. He's a hero, a bloody icon. But he's just one man. If we lose Shepard, humanity might well follow.
Then see to it that we don't lose him.
One month after the devastating Geth attack on the Citadel, humanity seized political control of the galaxy. Now the human-led Council is forced to respond to evidence that the Reapers have returned. To quell rumors, Council sent Shepard and the Normandy to wipe out the last pockets of Geth resistance. Officially, they blame the invasion on the Geth and a rogue Spectre.
Disengaging FTL drives. Emission sinks active. Board is green. We are running silent.
We're wasting our time. 4 days searching up and down this sector, and we haven't found any sign of Geth activity.
Hi, Presley.
3 ships went missing here in the past month. Something happened to them.
My money's on slavers. The Terminus system is crawling with them.
Picking up something on the long-range scanner. Unidentified vessel. Looks like a cruiser.
Doesn't match any known signatures.
Cruiser is changing course. Now on intercept trajectory.
Can't be. Stealth systems are engaged. There's no way a Geth ship could possibly...
It's not the Geth. Brace for evasive maneuvers!
Sorry, Presley.
Presley!
Kinetic barriers down! Multiple hull breaches! Weapons offline! Somebody get that fire out!
I was just about to say, who's that? I'm not used to seeing him there.
Distress beacon is ready for launch. Will the Alliance get here in time?
No.
I'm not doing this just so they can find our frozen corpses. Get everyone onto the escape shuttle. Joker's still in the cockpit. He won't abandon ship. I'm not leaving either. Get to the damn shuttle. I'll haul Joker's crippled ass out of here. Commander! Get the hell out of here. Everybody in! Go! Go! Go!
Seer Mike is correct. That's why I picked the harsh option. This is not the time for diplomacy. Meanwhile, Joker's still maneuvering the ship. Nice little touch there. I've heard from several people that this whole scene hit really hard because they were so attached to the Normandy SR-1. I was never and have never been attached to the Normandy SR-1. So it never hit me in that particular way, but I'm curious if it ever hit any of you in a similar fashion. All right, so we've got... Again, no judgment. I'm not trying to be contrarian here. It's just, I never really got attached to the first ship. And then, then I was like, okay. Didn't even register me. Then I talked to a friend of mine, you know, an RL friend, and he was just like, "Oh my God, watching my ship get destroyed," and I was just like, "Oh yeah, no, that makes sense." I've got a few months, don't mind.
Mayday! 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 This is SSV Normandy!
exact moment I was sold on this game is right here. Now, I'm actually going to pause here for a moment. And I'm going to give this moment, not just the whole intro, just this one moment, its own separate positive. Here's the thing. Oh, that's true. We can just photo mode this. Figure out the controls. There we go. There we go. It's kind of... Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly what it thought it was, and exactly what it should be. That's not right. There we go. Oh yeah, no, this moment hits like a truck. It really does. That's why I felt sad that I'd already watched this moment while doing tech tests, because that's when I got all teary-eyed. But that was yesterday, so I'm kind of annulled from that right now. The planet, the looming planet, which actually indicates something, which is true. We're losing orbit. We're descending. I forget what that's called, but we have a decaying orbit, is the point. We have a decaying orbit. And the fact that the bridge is just completely exposed to vacuum. Just, there's no nothing about this. This is a giant gaping hole with chunks showing how much of it's been blown up. There's no real corpses around here, which may sound morbid, but actually makes perfect sense, because they're all out there now. Or they managed to get out, one of the two. And just everything about this moment, it is visually and audibly very well presented. But there's one last thing I wanted to say, and I swear I'm not just saying this to be negative or to be contrarian or to throw it in anyone's faces. Because this is, in a nutshell, this one moment explains why I like Mass Effect 2 better than Mass Effect 1. Hear me out, hear me out. Don't throw sticks at me just yet. It's because of the fact that Mass Effect 1 was jank. Mass Effect 1 was them trying to shove the KOTOR engine into something that it normally couldn't do. And it showed. Its animations were choppy and weird, and the cutscenes could barely be animated, and just so forth and so on, right? Like, even, let me use a specific example. You remember the scene where Anderson comes in and then slugs Udina? You remember that? Please remember the specifics of how that cutscene happened, because what happens is he walks in, and then he kind of does the wind-up, and we hear the sound effect, but we don't actually see the punch, because they can't do that. They literally couldn't do that in Engine. All they could do is do the punch and then have Udina react to it. And it all just feels kind of early 2000s, for lack of a better way to put it. Because they literally couldn't do it. They were incapable. They didn't have the AAA polish required, you know, back when AAA was supposed to mean something, in order to be able to pull off what that cutscene should look like. This moment, more than anything else whatsoever, says that this game is going to have something that Mass Effect 1 didn't have. Polish. They have the budget, they have the backing, they have the resources, and they can finally actually show the game with a degree of production values, which they did not have the capacity to do in every game they've made prior to this point in time. So, you know me, presentation is important to me. It always has been and it always will be. Now, presentation isn't going to make up for an absence of a core. You could have a very, very well presented movie that is terrible. That would be Star Wars Episode 9. But I always appreciate presentation, because this is a lot of effort and work and time and investment from a lot of people to make a very polished product. So, I just wanted to mention that, because I was thinking about that yesterday when I was going through this. Is that more than anything else, the reason Mass Effect 2 is better than Mass Effect 1 for me is because it is a substantially more polished game. Whereas Mass Effect 1 is not polished at all. Any questions? Good. Moving on. We'll get to 3 when we get there. Because the wonderful double-edged sword is more money and more resources does not necessarily make a product better. Something being AAA is not a guarantee of success. It is merely an additional option of improvement.
Come on, Joker. We have to get out of here.
No, I won't abandon the Normandy. I can still save her.
The Normandy's dead. Just like us if we don't get the hell out of here.
No, we just have to... Oh, no.
I do like the helmet. This is all in-engine. They couldn't do this in Mass Effect 1. Literally. The moment that always gets me, though, right here. Can you imagine what it would feel like to suffocate to death while plummeting towards a planet? And yeah, beautiful audio design. Beautiful audio direction. The struggling is what really sells it, though. They did a lot more motion capture with Mass Effect 2, so you're actually seeing actors acting out a lot of the scenes. And that helps a lot. Because most of the Mass Effect 1 and KOTOR and Neverwinter Nights animations were all, I forget what they actually call them, but they're pre-baked. They go through, you know, generic... You know what I'm talking about, right? You've seen it. If you've played... Even Dragon Age Origins does that. It's just, you know, they do it better. But pre-baked animations. But here, most of the animations are actually, you know, they put someone in a suit and said, here, do this. I'm just showing this off because it's here.
Just another routine mission. Why do they always say that before a mission? Of course it's routine. You haven't done anything yet. It's everything that happens along the way. The choices you make, the paths you choose, that turn the routine into anything but. Of course, that's how it started. A routine mission, answering a distress call. And look where that got me. We were testing out the Normandy, Captain Anderson's new ship, when the distress call came in. An Alliance patrol on Eden Prime had been attacked. They'd seen...
Oh yeah, notice that Mark Mears actually acting now.
Whatever it was massive. I hit the ground with my lieutenant, Kaidan Olenko. A good kid, loyal, by the book, with a talent for biotics. We came across the lone survivor of the patrol, Gunnery Chief Ashley Williams. A soldier to the core. Tough, disciplined, ready to take on whatever came her way. Ashley joined up with us and took us to the spot where she lost her squad. That's when we saw it. The ship. Like nothing I'd ever seen. It was massive, scorching the colony and everything around it as it blasted away. We followed the path of destruction to an artifact, a beacon left by a long-dead race called the Protheans. The colony had dug it up, and whoever attacked them had tried to take it. Chief Williams made the mistake of getting too close. It hit her with some type of energy. I grabbed her and threw her out of the way. That's when it hit me. Hard. Every muscle in my body went rigid. I couldn't move, could barely breathe. Everything went black. And then I saw something. A vision. Dream. A nightmare. By the time I woke up, we were halfway to the Citadel on our way to meet the Council. I was expected to explain what I'd seen. Anderson came along. So did Adina, our political representative on the Citadel. With those two heavyweights, it seemed reasonable we could persuade the Council that the ship we'd seen was a potential threat, as was the individual behind the attacks. The main suspect for the Eden Prime massacre was a Turian Spectre named Saren. He'd been seen by one of the survivors from the colony at Eden Prime, and there was some evidence to suggest that the ship was connected to Saren. But even Adina's pointed accusations weren't enough to convince the Council. They just couldn't believe one of their chosen elite Spectres could be guilty of something like that. They needed proof, which meant I needed proof. Fortunately, I wasn't alone in my search. Garrus, another Turian, wanted to help. A top agent for Citadel Security. Despite orders from his superiors that he shouldn't get involved, he told me he was suspicious of Saren, and he had some useful leads. More importantly, he was willing to share them. That led me to Rex, the biggest, nastiest-looking Krogan bounty hunter I'd ever seen. He turned out to be more than just a brute. It was his intel that led to a fugitive with incriminating evidence on Saren. The fugitive turned out to be an energetic little Quarian named Tali. A tech expert with a knack for hacking, she'd procured some information on Saren. Evidence that proved Saren was dirty. Tali's evidence proved that Saren was responsible for the massacre on Eden Prime, and that the immense warship we'd spotted was in fact Saren's flagship. But it went much further. Saren was trying to find a way to bring back a race of sentient machines from dark space. Machines allegedly responsible for cleansing the galaxy of all organic life. These Reapers were blamed for wiping out all life 50,000 years ago, including the Protheans, then disappearing back through the mass relays to dark space, leaving no trace they'd ever been. That explained why Saren was after the beacon, and it made some sense out of my visions. But not much else. We couldn't convince the Council that the Reapers were a threat, but they agreed Saren had to be stopped. They stripped him of his Spectre status and gave me the honor of becoming the first human Spectre. My first task? Bring down Saren. Anderson decided to stay behind, giving up his ship, the Normandy. He told me I would need it more than he would. He also pointed me in a direction. Liara, a Prothean expert, adept in biotics, and maybe most importantly, daughter of Benezia, Saren's top lieutenant. And like most Asari, as beautiful as she is intelligent, and born with a unique ability to meld with other species. Liara was able to help me decipher some of the vision the beacon had given me. Nothing concrete, but it gave me some clues. And a new appreciation for the Asari. Her technique for accessing my vision was unexpected, but not at all unpleasant. Ashley was a little concerned about the connection I shared with Liara. As commander, I knew either relationship had the potential to interfere with the mission. I decided discretion was the better part of valor, and kept my focus on our goal, finding Saren. Thanks to Liara's help, we had our next lead, Benezia. Saren had taken her to Novarian, where he'd enslaved a dangerous race of insect-like creatures, the Rachni. He ordered Benezia to use the same technique Liara had used on me to extract information from the Rachni Queen. The Queen's drones were everywhere, and they weren't happy. We had to fight through hundreds of them to get to Benezia. By the time we arrived, Saren was gone, with the information. I tried to reason with Benezia, but Saren had indoctrinated her. He had somehow acquired the ability to control people's actions and wills. Benezia wouldn't surrender, and Liara was forced to watch her mother die in her arms. And I was left with an angry, dangerous Rachni Queen to deal with. She claimed her drones would do no harm if I released her. But the Rachni had terrorized the galaxy before. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't doom an entire species for past sins. And the Queen was true to her word. She left and took her army of drones with her. With Saren's top lieutenant dead, it was quickly running out of time and places to hide. I tracked him down at his base on Vermeer, But we soon learned it was more than a base of operations. It was a breeding ground. Saren was breeding an army of Krogan. He'd found a cure for the genophage, a disease inflicted on the Krogan to prevent them from breeding and taking over the galaxy. But the Krogan Saren was breeding were slaves, mindless beasts that obeyed Saren's will. I had to destroy the base, and all its research. Rex disagreed. Violently. Rex wanted the genophage cure for his people. I tried to convince him to help me destroy it, that these Krogan weren't real. But he wouldn't back down. Fortunately, Rex is smarter than he looks. He realized this wasn't the way to help his people, and that Saren was the real threat. When we finally got to the center of the base, I realized just how close Saren was to completing his plan. He was already in communication with the Reapers. Sovereign, Saren's flagship we'd all assumed was just a ship, was a Reaper. It spoke to me, threatened me. I could feel the menace it had for every living thing. It wanted me dead. It wanted us all dead. And I knew it was capable of doing just that. What I couldn't understand was why Saren would help it. But there was no time to think about it. Sovereign knew where we were. We had to destroy the base and get the hell out. I split up my team in 2 squads, sending Ash with one and Kaidan with the other as a distraction. We had a nuke, and we planned to use it. Before we could detonate the bomb, Saren showed up. We fought. I stalled him to make time for my team. And in talking to him, I realized the truth. It wasn't Saren who was indoctrinating everyone. It was Sovereign. The Reaper. And Saren was in deeper than all of them. He tried to convince me he was still in control, said he found a way to reduce the Reaper's influence, but he was kidding himself. Or believing the lies Sovereign was telling him. Before I could convince him to stop, he ran, leaving me just seconds to extract my squad mates. I tried, but I wasn't fast enough. I could only save one of them.
No,
He
Kaidan.
was a good friend
And
a great soldier. But I had to choose, and I chose Kaidan. That was the last time Saren would slip away from me. I knew then, the next time we met, one of us would die. With my team mostly intact, we chased Saren and his army to Ilos, a long-lost planet that had once belonged to the Protheans. As we prepared for what we knew would be a desperate fight, I spoke to my crew. We were just one ship, against Saren's growing army. I assured them all that despite the odds, we could defeat him. I'd never tell anyone, but I had my doubts. Leaving Ashley behind had hardened my resolve, but revealed a soft spot in my defenses. How many more friends and allies would I be willing to sacrifice in order to stop Saren? We arrived on Ilos, close behind Saren. Once on the planet, we discovered a Prothean databank that helped
Interesting
me put
they
the
just
final
skip over
pieces of my vision
Pharaohs.
together. The Reapers had come 50,000 years ago, and every 50,000 years before that, each time purging the galaxy of life. The Protheans had fought and died, like every species before them. But a few survived long enough to leave a parting gift. The Protheans had discovered that the Citadel was the key to controlling the mass relays. By sabotaging the Citadel, they found a way to close the relays to dark space, slowing the Reapers' return, giving us the time we needed to find a solution to stop the Reapers once and for all. Saren knew this. He was leading his army to take control of the Citadel and re-establish the relays to dark space, bringing the waiting Reapers here to destroy us all. We followed him to the Citadel. It was intact, but heavily damaged. He had caught the Council fleets by surprise, and they were only now regrouping. And with Sovereign as his flagship, there was little hope the fleets could counterattack with enough strength to take back the Citadel. But Saren was done running, and I was done chasing him. As the Alliance and Citadel fleets battled Saren's army outside, I cornered the Turian bastard in the Citadel tower and confronted him. He died believing that the Reapers would save him. As I fought to regain control of the Citadel, the Council's flagship, the Destiny Ascension, fell under attack. Despite Saren's death, Sovereign and Saren's army continued to fight. The Council was aboard the Destiny Ascension, and they were requesting assistance. But I knew in order to help them, I would have to put our Human Alliance fleet in jeopardy. The Council could be replaced. The fleets were needed here and now if we were going to defeat Sovereign. Even with the Citadel back in my control, Saren defeated, and the Normandy leading the combined galactic fleet, the battle against Sovereign, a single Reaper, was relentless. It took the combined fleets of humanity and the other races, but in the end, Sovereign fell. But the costs were immense. While humanity's efforts in the war earned us our first seat on the Council, it was a hollow victory. The Reapers were still out there. I knew the fight was far from over, but as the one who'd led the fight against Saren, I was given new responsibilities. The choice of humanity's first counselor was left for me to decide. On the one hand, Udina, the lifetime politician. Ruthless and ambitious, he would easily navigate the political landmines that would soon be put in front of him. The other choice, Captain Anderson, the career soldier. Tough but fair, but a friend, and someone I could trust. Both great leaders in their own right. Anderson didn't want the job, which was a sure sign he'd be perfect for it. No ambition to get in the way. The war was over. The threat had passed. In time, the Council would rebuild itself. The Citadel could be repaired. Even the pain of lost friends would fade. But none of that mattered if the Reapers were still out there. And if they were all as powerful as Sovereign, we had to find a way to stop them. I had to find a way. I gathered my crew, took my ship, and went in search of answers. Officially, the Council would only say I was assigned to cleanup duty, rooting out any remnants of Saren's army. Just another routine mission.
$50,000 years
Commander
is
Shepard
almost
has been
perfect.
recovered. The Lazarus Project will proceed as planned.
Okay, so let's mess with this a little bit. No. Damn it, game, come on. So there's the preset we were using last time. Super thick. No, gotta get rid of the hair, obviously. I mean, who does hair? Thank you. Kira White Noise. I will jot that down. Knox. And this is what's going to happen every time I alt tab, which is why I'm going to try to do it as little as possible. I don't think I can fix the nose. No, never mind. That's actually better. I try, Latario. I try. You realize you're literally just calling me ugly at this point, right? See you around, Eternus. We will, of course, be streaming all day, every day. For the next 5 times. The next 5 days. The default Shepherd looks disgusting. I hate it. I will never, ever use the default Shepherd. I would quite literally rather just switch to FemShep. I'm sorry. I don't mean any insult to anybody. I legitimately hate default Shep. Like, a lot. Just, wow. The fact that that's the default Shepherd has always vaguely irritated me. So welcome to the stream, Eternus. Shoutouts, don't be a stranger. If you want to chat, comment, or otherwise tell me how much you hate my face and how ugly and terrible I am, then by all means feel free to do so. It's not exactly like I don't get that every day of my life. Of course, Ross doesn't put that towards anything. Thank you, Ross. Always appreciate. You didn't put that towards anything, Ross. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to kill you. Sorry. And you're always welcome to come back and turn us. If you want to lurk, nothing against that. If you want to talk, nothing against that either. Firewatch, you got it. I mean, I don't mind what FemShep looks like, but I've never liked male Shep, and I'm just kind of proving that here, for lack of a better way to put it. I think it's as good as that's getting. Yeah, but my stomach just can't handle Klingon food, Cashel. I'm sorry. I suppose that'll do. So, I guess we'll stay engineer. Sure.
Something's wrong.
He's reacting to outside stimuli, showing an awareness of his surroundings.
Hello, Blum.
My God, Miranda, I think he's waking up.
Damn it, Wilson. He's not ready yet. Give him the sedative. Shepard, don't try to move. Just lie still. Try to stay calm.
Heart rate's still climbing. Brain activity is off the charts. Stats pushing into the red zone. It's not working.
Another dose. Now.
Heart rate dropping. Stats falling back into normal range. That was too close. We almost lost him.
I told you your estimates were off. Run the numbers again.
So I'm going to spoil a small thing. It's a really small thing. Wilson's trying to kill us here. And it's just interesting the way that almost worked before they even got us up.
Wake up, Commander. Shepard, do you hear me? Get out of that bed now. This facility is under attack. Shepard, your scars aren't healed, but I need you to get moving. This facility is under attack. There's a pistol in the locker on the other side of the room. Hurry! Grab the pistol and armor from the locker.
No, that was totally tactical incompetence. Hey, we actually do have some bonus stuff from our Mass Effect 1 thing. Yay! Yeah, no, it was totally deliberate. He was doing what he probably should have done as an assassin. It's interesting because Wilson's kind of incompetent, but because if he had done that properly, we never would have actually survived that. We would have just died in that initial attempt, and that would have been the end of it. But instead, he, fiddled with his numbers and said, oh yeah, this will totally work. It obviously wouldn't because he just screwed with the numbers. Everything screws up, everything's gone, the end. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Kira White Noise. So naturally, he has to go with a slightly less successful attempt by deciding to go ahead and go loud, as the saying goes. And that goes off a little bit less. Now I'm going to go ahead and put away my cup because, God, I haven't been able to do jack today, but I'll be right back. Ammo. Now, we've actually already had the ammo discussion. But whether or not ammo is a good thing or a bad thing actually doesn't depend on the ammo itself. We already had that discussion. But in the off chance you weren't there for that, let's be very clear about this. If you have a cooldown-based system, which is effectively what the thermal thing is, then what you have done is you've put more tools into the player's choice so that the player may have more options with regards to how they play the game. If you have ammunition, what you have done is you have put more tools into the developer's hands so that they have more options for how to design the game. So whether or not ammo is going to be good or bad, we actually can't judge yet. We'll have to see what they do with the actual ammo drops throughout the course of this game. Now, they don't do anything cool with the ammo, I can tell you that right now. But we'll see if it's plus, negative, or in between as we go.
You don't have time to wait around, Shepard. Grab your weapon and armor.
This pistol doesn't have a thermal clip.
It's a medbay. We'll get you a clip from... Keep your head down, Shepard. Shield yourself from the blast. Someone's hacking security trying to kill you. Look for a thermal clip for your pistol.
Sorry, I'm probably doing this too fast. I apologize. This is a tutorial.
Looks like they set up a barricade to try holding the mechs off.
For all the good it did them.
Look out! Moving, we need to get to the shuttles. Shepard, security mechs are closing in on your...
Trying to show something off, but apparently I'm just sucking today. Jesus. It's always droids. It's always droids.
Nice work, Shepard. Coast is clear.
I'll show it off in a second. The mouse is a little bit weird, but it's exactly as weird as Mass Effect 1's mouse was, so...
Don't waste time. I can't keep the mechs distracted for
At
long.
least I got that going for me.
More reinforcements heading your way. Grab the grenade launcher off the security officer's body. Here come the mechs. You...
They've seen it.
Take the elevator down one floor. Hurry! Get to the door! Run!
I think everybody knows my favorite heavy weapon.
You're doing fine, Shepard. Head to the next room and I'll try to meet you. Shepard, read me. I've got them closing in on my position.
So we've been handheld up to this point pretty solidly. This is straight up tutorial. What's doubly funny is you can actually skip most of this deliberately or otherwise. Let me go ahead and mention something else that I appreciate about Mass Effect 2 over Mass Effect 1.
Log update. The cost of this project is astronomical. Over 4 billion credits so far. But nobody seems to care that we've gone over budget. I don't know where the boss gets all his money. Maybe it's better not to know. I just wish he'd kick a little more in my direction once in a while.
Audio logs instead of video logs, instead of text logs. So, they also do this thing.
Progress is slow, but subject shows signs of recovery. Major organs are again functional, and there are signs of rudimentary neurological activity. In an effort to accelerate the process, we've moved from simple organic reconstruction of the subject to biosynthetic fusion. Initial results show promise.
And yes, we are in fact a cyborg now. So that's cool. Which should come up, but never will. I'm just going to spoil that for you. I'll save you.
Log update. I can't figure Miranda out. As project director, she should be ecstatic at all the progress we've made. But she's still the same old Ice Queen. Maybe she's worried Shepard might become the new favorite. Or maybe she is just a pure cold-hearted bitch.
Ironically, I could see Tim as someone who would invest early into NFTs and all that stuff, and then get out very quickly. Like, he would see the trend coming, invest heavily when it's cheap, and as soon as it spikes and the bubble is about to burst, he'd get out and make tons of money off of it. Because that's kind of Tim's operating procedure in a nutshell. He is actually a long-term thinker. And he is, you know, he's capable of predicting trends in a similar fashion. It's the exact same thing I honestly wish I had done, but I didn't have enough money worth investing. I could have only made a few $1,000s if I did that, and it was a heavy risk if I did it. So, that's a good question, Hazardous. Do I qualify as a cyborg? Let's see here. Evil ones, Savacom. Very evil ones. You left a comment. Oh, here it is. Oh, yeah, this is the film I've never heard of that you mentioned. I've only heard of it because you mentioned it in Discord. Oh yeah, let's jot down some positives for Mark Meer. Finally. I should mention this intro is actually doing a lot right very quickly.
Gear up!
It's not the best. I've seen better.
I've got him! Shut Gotta hurt!
They have damageable parts, is what I was trying to show off earlier. The legs and arms can actually be damaged and knocked off, independent from, the rest of them.
What are you doing here? Thought you were still a work in progress.
Are you with Miranda?
Yeah, sorry. I forgot this is all new to you right now. I'm Jacob Taylor. I've been stationed here for—
Hostiles detected.
Damn it! Things must be worse than I thought if Miranda's got you running around. I'll fill you in, but we better get you to the shuttle first.
It's your station, Jacob. I'll follow you.
First step, let's finish off these metal bastards. We're low on thermal clips, but I'm a biotic. Just give the order when you want me to hit them with the good stuff.
So... Okay, thank God.
Target down!
That's the first time the tutorial, the second time the tutorial has actually required you to do something. Most of this stuff you can just, go through
Ready
and
to get
ignore.
the hell off this station?
Before we go anywhere, I need some answers.
Sure. What do you want to know?
You said they spent 2 years rebuilding me? How bad were my injuries?
I'm no doctor, but it was bad. When I first saw you, you were nothing but meat and tubes. Anywhere else, they'd have put you in a coffin. But Project Lazarus was different. Cutting-edge technology.
What do you mean? Cloning? Cybernetics?
I don't know the details. You'd have to ask the scientists. But I'm pretty sure you're not a clone. They wanted to bring you back exactly as you were. You're still you. You just might have a few extra bits and pieces now.
What can you tell me about the project? Were there other test subjects?
Project Lazarus only had one subject. The whole point was to bring you back. Just you. Even that was a challenge. 2 years. All the top scientists. The best technology money could buy.
Do you know anything about this attack? Who's behind it? What they're after?
Damned if I know. I was getting ready for some shut-eye, then bam! Bunch of explosions. Next thing I know, every damn mech in the place starts shooting at us. I'm guessing it had to be an inside job. You'd need top security access to hack all the mechs.
The last thing I remember is the Normandy blowing up. Did anyone else make it?
Just about everybody survived. A few servicemen from the lower decks didn't get out. Navigator Presley was killed by an explosion. But everyone else, including the non-Alliance crew, the Asari, Liara, and the Quarian, they all made it out alive.
What's your job here?
Depends on who you ask. Technically, I'm Miranda's top lieutenant. But I'm just a soldier. I served 5 years in the Alliance before this. Now I'm in charge of the station's security. Usually a lot more dull than this. Normally I don't fire my gun unless it's target practice.
When I first woke up, someone named Miranda was talking to me over the radio. We lost contact just before I ran into you.
Miranda Lawson is the station's ranking officer. She led the Lazarus team. It was her job to bring you back to life, no matter what. Should have guessed she'd try to save you. She's not about to give up on you now. You said you lost contact. Could you tell what was happening?
There was some gunfire and an explosion right before I lost her.
She knows how to take care of herself. But I hope she's okay.
What's the quickest way to those shuttles?
Depends where the mechs are thickest. It's probably best if we—
Check. Anyone on this frequency? Anybody still alive out there? Hello?
Wilson, this is Jacob. I'm here with Commander Shepard. Just took out a wave of mechs over in D-Wing.
Shepard's alive? How the hell? Never mind. You need to get him out of there. Get to the service tunnels and head for the network control room.
Roger that, Wilson. Stay on this frequency.
Let's get out of here.
You bet. We can get into the service tunnels through this door. Charge him up!
The whole station is crawling with mechs. I'm doing the best I can.
Wilson, find us another route out of here. Preferably one that doesn't lead straight into an enemy squad.
Just keep moving toward the control room. Don't get pinned down. I'll see what I can do. Oh god. They found me. Help!
Wilson, where are you?
Server room B! Hurry! They're out of control!
Up those stairs, Shepard.
Shepard, down here! Bastards got me in the leg!
We need to get off this station.
I'm not going anywhere till someone fixes my leg.
Should be some Medi-gel in the first aid station on the wall. Hopefully there's enough to get him up and moving again.
Grab the Medi-gel from the first aid station on the wall. Thanks, Shepard. Never thought you'd save my life. Guess that makes us even now, hmm? I thought maybe I could shut down the security mechs, but whoever did this fried the whole system. Completely irreversible.
We didn't ask what you were doing. Why do you even have security mech clearance? You were in the bio wing.
Weren't you listening? I came here to try and fix this. Besides, I was shot. How do you explain that?
Way too defensive.
I don't care who set up who. Those mechs are shooting at all of us. We'll sort it out later.
We need to find Miranda first. We can't just leave her behind.
Forget about Miranda. She was over in D-Wing. The mechs were all over that sector. There's no way she survived.
A bunch of mechs won't drop Miranda. She's alive.
Then where is she? Why haven't we heard from her? There are only two possible explanations. She's either dead, or she's a traitor.
There's a type of board game. It's actually tabletop, excuse me, let me use the correct terminology. It's a type of tabletop game, which is usually referred to as co-op with a traitor. There's a lot of variants on it, but most people are probably familiar with things like Secret Hitler or Werewolf, stuff like that. And each of them, the whole general point of it is to try, one of the persons has to, Mafia is another example. One of the people in question, or several people, depending on the format of the game, have to try and pretend to not be the traitor while they're trying to win the game. And it's a whole thing. It's actually really fun. It's a great social thing. Out of Salem, that's another one. I haven't actually played the Battlestar Galactica one, so I can't. Anyways, the point I'm bringing up here is, if you pay attention to human psychology as much as I do, most of the usual tricks for those kind of games are really obvious. And I just bring this up because that's why Wilson's doing all of the standard tricks. First thing you do, give an explanation for what's going on and why you're not the traitor, obviously. And then, immediate thing you do after that, try and cast suspicion onto someone else, and use any opportunity to take any information that might not have an answer, so any neutral information, and slant it as if it's their fault. And the whole thing is just, it's really, really obvious in hindsight, but you get the idea.
If Miranda's dead, there's nothing we can do. We have to save our own asses right now.
The shuttle bay is only a few.
And I'm just mentioning all this because it just goes to show how, I don't want to use the word pathetic, but didn't really know what he was doing. Wilson is. That's how I'm going to phrase that.
That's it. Let's get out of here.
Amateur. That's a good word. I like that. Wilson's an amateur.
Okay, we took him down. But this is getting tense. Shepard, if I tell you who we work for, will you trust me?
This really isn't the time, Jacob.
We won't make it if he's expecting a shot in the back.
If you want to piss off the boss, it's your ass, Jacob.
The Lazarus Project. The program that rebuilt you. It's funded and controlled by Cerberus.
Never heard of him. I didn't do it in the side missions in one. No. So, point number one of why I like Jacob. He's straight with us. He's like, this is the third dialogue we've had with him. He's like, hold up. We're in a crisis situation. He needs to know we're not going to shoot him in the back. Here's the 101. We're Cerberus. And I like that.
I wiped out my share of Cerberus projects when I was a Spectre. Back then, they were trying to kill me. Why the change of heart?
Those answers are way above my pay grade. But basically, things change. The Alliance declared you dead. They gave up. Cerberus spent a fortune to bring you back. Look, I'd be suspicious too, but right now we have to work together. I thought you deserved to know what's what. Once we're off the station, I'll take you to the elusive man. He'll explain everything. I promise.
Elusive Man? Is he in charge of all this?
Yeah, that's not his real name, of course. Nobody knows who he really is.
It was a code name the Alliance used for him. Kinda stuck.
Well, if I won't get any more answers here, let's get moving.
It's not much farther to the shuttle bay.
See, the point here, what Jacob does is, in my opinion, the correct call, specifically because of the fact that he had two choices here. He could tell us up front that there's Cerberus and kind of rip the Band-Aid off, right? It's always going to be a shock, and it's always going to have problems with us. But the earlier you get something like that out, the better it's going to work. The better the person's going to handle it. The longer you hold on to a lie like that, the worse people react to it. That's true in just about any type of thing. Never mind something like, something big like this. Even in just a normal day thing, like, I ate the last of the cheesecake, right? The longer you hold on to that lie, the more upset the person's going to be when the truth finally comes out. That's, again, human psychology. So, Jacob poking this through early on not only shows... I'm sorry, J. Palmer. I needed cheesecake. But no, I needed, this shows that he has some understanding of that. It shows that he's a straight shooter, and most importantly of all, it shows the kind of mindset Jacob has, which will actually come up during his loyalty mission. And I just love that they demonstrate that right early on. But anyways. Oh yeah, by the way, so that's the type of equipment we have in this game. I looted something and I got an immediate dump of credits for it. There's actually only really the 7 basic types of equipment, which you're looking at right now. Credits, gel, ammo, palladium, iridium, platinum, element 0, EZO. There is technically an 8th type of equipment that is new heavy weapons that you don't have, but that's kind of it. So... Alright, let's see how the map is. Oh, we don't have a map yet. Right, because, yeah, okay.
Ready. Power.
You're done!
Careful, forces have engaged.
Oh yeah, the armor looks much better in 2. 1 has that BioWare problem with armor, like Neverwinter Nights or Dragon Age Origins. The armor looks redunculous. No, I will not, Dream Whisperer. As is the norm, we tend to avoid cheating when it comes to reviews. Alright, here we go. Hack time! It's the most terrifying hacking minigame in the known universe. Absolutely not, Oxy. Unless it's really required, in which case, yes.
Test subject has been recovered, but the damage is far worse than we initially feared. In addition to the expected burns and internal injuries from the explosion, subject has suffered significant cellular breakdown due to long-term exposure to vacuum and sub-zero temperatures. Despite the extent of the physical trauma, Wilson assures me subject is salvageable. The Lazarus Project will proceed as planned.
No, it's totally fixable. We're fine. We're fine. We are going to have to discuss that at some point. Right, I can't do that yet. So, what do we have? We've got the drone. That's new. No, I want that on What? Did we just crash? So what's the bug? Because I don't actually know that bug, Plutonium.
Test subject has been recovered, but the damage is far worse than we initially feared. In addition to the expected burns and internal injuries from the explosion.
When you have a fresh save and haven't loaded, trying to add skills crashes the game. Wow. Okay, so let's save. And then load. And that is super negative worthy. I just can't imagine playing this with a controller. That's insanity to me. But that's okay, because, you know, that's just the norm, really. That was so strange. Sure, Jesse's mask. And black licorice tastes good. I understand. Hello, Elizar. Is it not? Okay. Can I just...
Come on, through here. We're almost at the... Miranda, but you were...
Dead?
What the hell are you doing?
My job. Wilson betrayed us all.
I had a feeling Wilson was just looking for a chance to shoot me in the back.
Good instincts. Some people are far too trusting to ever see that coming. Come on, let's grab this shuttle and get out of here. My boss wants to speak to you.
You mean the elusive man? I know you work for Cerberus.
Ah, Jacob. I should have known your conscience would get the better of you.
Lying to the commander isn't the way to get him to join our cause.
Well, since we're
Right.
getting everything out in the open, is there anything else you want to ask before we go, Commander?
Convenient that you show up as we're leaving. Where were you during the attack?
Besides trying to save your life? Wilson figured out I was helping you and he sent an army of mechs to take me out. I got here as soon as I could. Probably a little too soon if you ask Wilson.
What about the rest of the people on the station?
This is the evac area. If they're not here now, they're not coming.
We can't leave without knowing for sure. We need to go back and look.
Don't you get it? The only one worth saving is you. Everyone else is expendable.
She's right. We all knew the risks when we signed up. Without you, there's no point to any of this.
Where are we going?
Another Cerberus facility. The elusive man is waiting for you there.
I'm not sure I trust you.
This is the only shuttle off the station. You want to stay and rot with the mechs? Be my guest.
You're the Lazarus Project's director, aren't you?
That's right. I put 2 years of my life into this project. Into you.
What does Cerberus want from me?
Maybe you should ask the elusive man when you meet him. He poured virtually unlimited resources into Lazarus. Obviously, he has some kind of plan for you.
I've had enough of this station to last a lifetime.
Or two, in your case. Come on.
No, I didn't see it at all, Justin. I can't check right now because I'm being cutscened.
Before you meet with the elusive man, we need to ask a few questions to evaluate your condition.
Come on, Miranda, more tests? Shepard took down those mechs without any trouble. That has to be good enough.
It's been 2 years since the attack. The elusive man needs to know that Shepard's personality and memories are intact. Ask the questions.
Well, the reason we're playing male Shepard is because we never have. I know, it's a boring answer, but it's true. What do I think of playing Dragon Age Origins on console? I mean, I wouldn't do that, but sure, whatever. Do I like the Renegade Scars in Mass Effect 2? Yes. Absolutely. Do I think the Reapers can be defeated conventionally? Yes, I always have. There's 2 donations I missed. Thank you, Robostall. If you're even there anymore, I don't know when that was. Oh, that was a while ago. That was like an hour and a half ago. Robostall says, Mass Effect 2 disappointed me so much after waiting years for it. Interesting. I sincerely doubt I will change your mind, though. And I will put that towards Valhalla. And thank you, Justin, very much. I will put that towards the Zelda block. Which is probably the block I'm most looking forward to of everything we have in the list. But it's a big one, so I'm okay with it waiting for a minute. Let me set up a few things now. It looks like we're not going to be crashing any moment now.
Did you say 2 years? I've been gone that long?
2 years and 12 days. And you were on an operating table for most of it.
The sooner we start, the sooner we can be done. Start with personal history.
Okay. Records show you were a colony kid. Lost your parents when slavers hit Mindwar. You enlisted and won a medal fighting Batarians during the Skillian Blitz. Do you remember that?
A lot of lives depended on me holding that position. I did what I had to.
However you want to put it, it was damn impressive. I had friends who were there. Satisfied, Miranda?
Almost. Let's try something more recent. Vermeer, where you destroyed Saren's cloning facility. You had to leave one of your squad behind to die in the blast.
Gunnery Chief Ashley Williams was killed in action. It was your call. Why did you leave her behind?
Well, because, I've never spared Cade's life before.
I left a friend to die that day, and I didn't do it casually. But I had to save as many people as I could. Ash gave her life for the rest of the team. Without her, I couldn't have stopped Saren. She died a hero.
I understand, Commander, and I wasn't judging your decision. Everybody at Cerberus knows that cloning facility had to be destroyed.
There are other tests we really should run.
Come on, Miranda. Enough with the quizzes. The memories are there, and I can vouch for Shepard's combat skills personally.
I suppose you're right. We'll have to hope the elusive man accepts our little field test as evidence enough.
That's a cool looking station.
The elusive man is waiting for you in the other room.
I wouldn't keep the elusive man waiting.
The elusive man is waiting for you in the other room.
Hang on. Tim can wait a minute. Oh yeah, someone was asking, what does Tim mean? The elusive man. T-I-M. Perfect.
Commander Shepard.
Elusive man. I thought we'd be meeting face to face.
A necessary precaution. Not unusual for people who know what you and I know.
And what exactly is it that you and I know?
That our place in the universe is more fragile than we'd like to think. That one man, one very specific man, might be all that stands between humanity and the greatest threat of our brief existence.
The Reapers.
Good to see your memory's still intact. How are you feeling?
I noticed a few upgrades. I hope you didn't replace anything really important.
We tried to keep you as intact as possible. We need Shepard, just as you were when you defeated Sovereign.
What are the Reapers doing that made you decide to bring me back?
We're at war. No one wants to admit it, but humanity is under attack. While you've been sleeping, entire colonies have been disappearing. Human colonies. We believe it's someone working for the Reapers, just as Saren and Geth aided Sovereign. You've seen it yourself. You bested all of them. That's just one reason we chose you.
Fighting a war doesn't seem like Cerberus. Why are you involved?
We're committed to the advancement and preservation of humanity. If the Reapers are targeting us, trying to wipe us out, Cerberus will stop them. If we wait for politicians or the Alliance to act, no more human colonies will be left.
As an aside, yes, Cerberus could never wage an entire war. They don't have the resources to field an army or a fleet.
Sovereign was trying to harvest all life in the galaxy. Why would the Reapers target a few human colonies?
Hundreds of thousands of colonists have vanished. I'd say that fits the definition of harvesting. Nobody's paying attention because it's random, and the attacks occur in remote locations. I don't know why they've suddenly targeted humanity. Maybe you got their attention when you killed one of them.
Fighting a war doesn't seem like Cerberus. Why are you involved?
We're committed to the... If we wait for politicians or the Alliance to act, no more human colonies.
You could have trained an entire army for what you spent to bring me back.
You're unique. Not just in ability or what you've experienced, but in what you represent. You stood for humanity at a key moment. You're more than a soldier. You're a symbol. And I don't know if the Reapers understand fear, but you killed one. They have to respect that.
If what you say is true, if the Reapers are behind this, I'd consider helping you.
I'd be disappointed if you accepted any of this without seeing for yourself. I have a shuttle ready to take you to Freedom's Progress, the latest colony to be abducted. Miranda and Jacob will brief you.
Miranda killed Wilson in cold blood. Jacob's just a gun for hire. You expect me to trust them?
Wilson was one of my best agents, but he was a traitor. Miranda did exactly what I expected of her, and she saved your life in more ways than one. Jacob's a soldier, one of the best. He's never fully trusted me, but he's always been honest about it. You'll be just fine with them. For now.
Is this a volunteer job, or am I being volunteered?
You always have a choice, Shepard. If you don't find the evidence we're both looking for, we can part ways. But first, go to Freedom's Progress. Find any clues you can. Who's abducting the colonies? Do they have any connection to the Reapers? I brought you back. It's up to you to do the rest.
So, we'll talk about the ammo later, but one thing we can talk about right now is leveling. The leveling's worse. Now, let's be very clear. I don't like the leveling in Mass Effect 1. I think it's actually kind of the opposite of leveling. It is very threadbare, very boring, and doesn't really involve much. Mass Effect 2 decided to solve that by truncating it rather than doing anything with it. And that's the problem. If we're being 100% honest with ourselves, this is the same leveling system as Mass Effect 1. It's shrunk, but it is the same system. It is not until Mass Effect 3 where we'll actually be able to have an actual leveling system. So for now, all we get is just raise the points, the end. Let's see. If it's negative worthy here, it was negative worthy in 1. We didn't give it negative for it in 1. Let's go ahead and try that. At least the interface actually works, unlike in 1. That's true, Jay Palmer. That is slightly better. If I could add something here really quick. I'm almost surprised by how many people in chat dislike this game. No judgment, of course. Everyone's allowed their own opinions and all that. It's just, it's actually surprising to me. Since, you know, that's something I didn't even really hear about until I started interneting several years ago. It's not even gonna let me, is it? Alright, whatever.
The Elusive Man is very impressed with you. I'm eager to see if you can live up to his expectations on this mission.
I never got a chance to say how much I appreciated what the Lazarus Project did for me.
I just hope it was worth it. A lot of people lost their lives on that station.
We have to work together here. Your attitude isn't helping anything.
I have the utmost respect for your abilities, Shepard. It's your motivations that concern me. I believe in what Cerberus stands for. Only time will tell if you prove to be an asset or a liability to our cause.
What can you tell me about this colony we're going to?
Freedom's Progress? It's a typical human settlement in the Terminus systems. They had a small military force for protection supplemented by mechs and security drones. Average in almost every way, really. Completely unremarkable. Until the disappearance.
Any thoughts on what we might run into there?
A lot of empty buildings and one giant mystery.
I'd like to know more about the Lazarus Project from the person in charge.
I wasn't in charge. The Elusive Man was. If I was running the show, would have done a few things differently.
What would you have changed?
To start, I would have implanted you with some type of control chip. But the Elusive Man wouldn't allow it. He was afraid it might affect your personality, alter your character somehow. He wouldn't let us do anything that might limit your potential in any way.
Can't say I like the idea of being brought back to life with a control chip in my brain.
The Elusive Man is taking an incredible risk with you. I just hope his gamble pays off.
Tell me a little about yourself.
Worried about my qualifications? I can crush a mech with my biotics or shoot its head off at 100 yards. Take your pick.
Did you and Jacob serve together in the Alliance?
No, the Elusive Man recognized my potential and recruited me at a young age.
How old were you?
Old enough to know this is what I wanted.
I was trying to get to know you as a human being.
I'm not looking for a friend, Shepard. Stay focused on the mission.
An amusing thing is several characters in this game are the standoffish type that have more depth to them once you get there. Jack is probably the example of that. But
it's obvious you're not interested in talking.
We've got an assignment. We can talk about it or we can do it.
I'm glad the Elusive Man convinced you to join us, Commander.
I just agreed to work with him. I still don't trust him.
Do you trust me, Commander?
yes.
You're a good man, Jacob. But you might be working for the wrong people.
Maybe. But I thought the same when I was with the Alliance. That's why I'm here now.
Do you know anything about this colony we're going to?
It's called Freedom's Progress. Don't know much else. I guess we'll find out when we get there.
You said you served in the Alliance?
5 years in total. Stationed all over the galaxy. Even spent a couple of years as a Corsair.
I've never heard of the Corsairs.
It was an Alliance initiative. They hired independent starship captains and used them for missions that fell outside official Alliance jurisdiction. Technically, we weren't part of the Alliance. If we ever got caught, they could disavow any knowledge of us. We were supposed to be free from restrictions and rules, but there was still enough red tape to sink a cruiser. I finally just gave up.
Why did you join Cerberus?
I guess I just got tired of never making a difference. So much of what we did in the Alliance seemed pointless. I thought things would change after the attack on the Citadel. The old council was dead, and humanity took control of the new one. But nothing changed. Politics, bureaucracy, same bullshit, different leaders. Cerberus is different. When colonies go missing, we don't commission a team to write a report to figure out what the hell to do about it. We just go and find out.
That's all for now.
Yes, sir.
One of the things I like about these little outro mission complete things is we get a little bit of an insight into what's going on from their end rather than from our end. Obviously, we just saw what happened, but from their end we see Shepard escaped the facility along with operatives Taylor and Lawson. Facility destroyed by remote detonation. Salvage teams will ensure no incriminating data survived. Per Miranda's recommendations, I'm running a security sweep on the other cells to ensure that Wilson was our only mole. Regardless of the cost, Project Lazarus was a success. Shepard is back. And is the same person. Yeah, that's a good storytelling mechanic. I like it.
We should be there shortly, Shepard. The elusive man put us under your command. Do you have any orders?
What did you find at the other colonies?
Nothing. No signs of attack, no corpses, not even a trace of unusual genetic material to give us a clue. They just disappear. We've got no target to go after.
Are you sure you'll be comfortable following my orders?
We didn't bring you back from the dead just to second guess you, Commander. If the elusive man says you're in charge, you're in charge.
What makes you think this investigation will turn up anything new?
At other colonies, official investigators got there first. Sometimes looters or salvage teams as well. We're hoping to be the first ones there this time. Maybe find clues before somebody else disturbs the scene.
Our first priority is to look for survivors.
That's unlikely, Commander. No one was left at the other colonies. They were completely deserted.
Be nice to find somebody. Anything's better than another ghost town.
So, before we move forwards, obviously we gotta use the most terrible gun in the entire series. Which I don't even have equipped, apparently. Do I seriously not have it equipped? That's funny. Well, that's fine. So, before we move any further, we gotta talk. We got a nice big discussion. We're not actually out of the intro yet. Not out of the intro yet. We actually can't finish discussing now. But we need to talk about Project Lazarus, and we need to talk about Cerberus. Now, let me get this out of the way real quick. Cerberus can go screw itself in Mass Effect 3. But here... let's tackle Cerberus first, because that's the easier topic, I think. I have no problem saying that this is a retcon, because it freaking is. As we've already pointed out, one of the biggest flaws of the Mass Effect trilogy is that it doesn't... they didn't have one codified vision or one codified plan for the trilogy, even though they always knew they wanted to do the trilogy. So, a lot of things got retconned in 2, which is funny, because a lot of things get retconned in 3 as well. Now, retcons are not inherently bad things. That's the interesting catch here. Whether or not this is better or worse is really the question, not whether or not it's changed, because it is changed. That's not debatable. It's changed. What does one have to do with anything hazardous? So, yeah, we've already seen several retcons in 2, and we will see more in the future. You notice the just casual mention of the ammo thing, which we've already discussed, so I have nothing new to add there. So the question becomes, is the external continuity, which has been violated with regards to Cerberus, a good thing or a bad thing? In Mass Effect 1, Cerberus were a bunch of Zerka Corporation types, which makes sense because Zerka Corporation was written by the same people, even the same person actually, who wrote Mass Effect 1. So that tracks. So that leads us to what is Cerberus here. Now, I'm going to get some hackles for this, but in my opinion, Cerberus is substantially more interesting in Mass Effect 2. Because to call them the good guys is obviously inaccurate, and spoilers, we're going to get quite a bit of showcasing that the Cerberus organization as a whole are more than willing to manipulate us and lie to us and deceive us in order to accomplish their ends. And we're working for them, or at the very least with them. This is also on top of the fact that they go out of their way to make sure that we interact with these two, the cheerleader and the loyalist, the soldier. So they definitely try to put on their best face, but there are still showcasings and signs of the fact that Cerberus are still not a good organization. My reason for talking all this out is this actually makes perfect sense to me. Now, I know this will actually be codified in Mass Effect 3, but we're not there yet. That doesn't matter for this game. What matters, for the review purposes, is does this showcasing of Cerberus improve or remove its overall enjoyment of the story? Now, I've kind of given across my opinion here. I think that Cerberus is substantially better in 2 than it is in 1 or 3, or even 1 or 3 combined. That is just my opinion, because, and if for no other reason, simply because of the fact that there's more there, more depth, more nuance, and more actual writing going on. But there is a flaw here. There is a flaw. So I'm going to jot something down. Cerberus, I'm going to put that in the positive territory. But here's the catch. And several people have already pointed it out in chat. The decision to use Cerberus like this is a flawed one at its very core, because it's completely unnecessary. Let me walk this back a little bit. Let's assume for a moment that we're brought back by a Reaper. A Reaper shows up and is just like, get up! And we're like, oh, God, what happened? The Reaper's like, get back to work. What? It's been 2 years. And we're like, okay. And we go start to do stuff. And as we're going through 2, not as a Cerberus agent, not working alongside or with Cerberus, we're actually just doing our own shtick and kind of being a self-funded, self-operated person like a Spectre is. Remember, one of the big points is that Saren had his own investors, which kept him funded and operating, right? Majority shareholder of a large-scale corporation, etc. So, imagine if we were just operating regardless of Cerberus, but Cerberus kept peeking into the narrative because Cerberus obviously would have a vested interest in us functioning and an interest in us operating. You could change very little about the game structure and make this still work. We could still have the cutscenes with the Elusive Man, because there's no reason why we wouldn't try to interact with and contact him just as an outside source. At that point, it's just kind of the shadow broker thing, right? We could even have the Elusive Man straight up give us the Normandy SR2 if you want to go that route with it. There's nothing wrong with that as from a perspective concept. We can also get it from the Alliance. There's other options there. But the best part about that is that would make those wonderful cutscenes at the end work even better. Imagine we're not working for Cerberus, and then at the end of every mission, we get a mission update from Cerberus's perspective. It effectively becomes a meanwhile elsewhere at that point, and it shows how they're following us and how they're keeping track of everything we're doing as we go. Just an interesting little different perspective on that. But anyways, so the problem though here really boils down to the fact that we are working with /for Cerberus and have absolutely no choice on the matter. That's the problem. That is the core issue here, is we're working with them, the end. We get the choice to stop working with them at the end of Mass Effect 2, spoilers, but we don't get to do anything else at all. We're locked in. And that doesn't feel particularly good, especially since it is so easy to circumvent. I myself have said many times that having too much branching narrative is a bad thing. But what we're talking about isn't really a branching narrative. What we're talking about is taking player choice and throwing it out the window. So on that front, I actually do think that that is negative worthy. The catch, of course, is whether or not that's a story negative or a gameplay negative. Now, to be clear, if we had the choice to decide to stick with Cerberus, that's fine. First of all, a Renegade Shepard would probably actually be willing to do that. Second of all, we do need resources and personnel and contacts and connections and intel. Cerberus is providing all of that. And even if we ignore the pragmatics of the situation, the fact of the matter is Cerberus really is anti-Reaper. They are. That's something that's true to us, the players, and it's something that's true to Shepard in universe. So, you know, what do they call that? Enemy mine? You know, that's the wrong thing, because enemy mine's different. But you get the idea, right? Being willing to deal with someone who is your enemy temporarily to fight against a greater villain. Duh. They're still our enemy. Cerberus is still our enemy. We're not going towards them. But we got bigger stuff to deal with. Normally, so what's interesting... Oh, I'll see you around Croatia. See, that's not true, though, Jay Palmer. But I'm getting off my topic. It's not enemy of my enemy. There actually is a separate term for this, because enemy of my enemy is a different thing. The alliance of convenience, that's it. This is an alliance of convenience. Why would Croatia be here? We don't have the Mako. Yeah, exactly, Joluto. The enemy of my enemy is still my enemy. It's the thing that most people tend to forget. Well, the Mako's gone, Oxymoron. It's dead, it's gone, it's destroyed. Forever and ever. So yeah, normally I would say this is actually a gameplay negative, because Choice's gameplay is... Well, it's gameplay, that's how that works. But in this case, I think we will go with story. Alright, we're gonna be here a minute. Let's get some music going. No, not the twinning. Nobody wants to hear the twinning. Well, ask me again when we get there, Trihexy, and I might even answer you. So now we got to talk about Project Lazarus. Now I'm going to admit something weird. Project Lazarus has never actually bothered me. Even now, doesn't actually bug me that much. Not really. So let's talk about writing for a second. When you're writing, I like to think of writing as a puzzle. I know I say that a lot, but it's true. Writing is a bit of a puzzle, and what you want, you're trying to accomplish several objectives simultaneously. So, you know, you're looking at it, it's like, I want to do this, 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 and this. What do I write to make all of those things true at the same time? Because if I do this, it'll go against this, and if I do this, it'll go against this, and so forth and so on here. Actually, let's do a different song. Australia! So, they wanted a time skip. They wanted to reset the board a little bit. They wanted us to work with Cerberus. And they wanted to have this Empire Strikes Back thing, which that's the other thing we'll talk about in a minute here. And that was their overall goal. That was what they wanted. And so their decision was to go ahead and have us, be killed and then be resurrected as a way in order to accomplish all of those goals at the same time. We're brought back by Cerberus. That gets us involved with Cerberus. We're down for so long because it takes so long to fix us. That's how the 2 years time skip works, etc., etc. That was their solution to the puzzle. It does work, and I think one of the biggest reasons why it's never really bothered me is it's emphasized over and over just how costly and non-standard the whole thing was. If I was to put this in different terminology, let's say that, just play pretend for me for a moment. Let's say that Dragon Age Origins added resurrection magic to it. Not the zombie stuff, that's already a thing. Just straight up resurrection magic. And what it is you sit there and you cast for 10 minutes and you bring someone back from the dead. That would be a huge sea change to the setting. Because all of a sudden death is something that can be done all willy-nilly, right? And yeah, this is something that several settings struggle with. If they had done that, if this was too easy or too quick or too cheap or too whatever, this wouldn't work nearly as well for me. It would in fact bug the crap out of me because, and someone said this in chat earlier, Superblood. Just not to spoil, but Superblood is perfectly the example of how not to do this, right? Instead, what we have is death is fixable. It is something that is possible. But there's a big difference between possible and feasible, possible and accessible, etc., etc. Excuse me. Exactly, Melkor Blade. Yeah, Witcher is a perfect example of this thing. So it is something that is possible, but it's wildly unpractical. It reminds me, I know this is going to sound like a weird comparison. I'm probably going to get some hackles for this, but it reminds me of the Death Star. No, the first one. For those of you familiar with Star Wars, especially in the EU, not the new stuff, the EU, the Death Star took decades to build and was horrifically expensive in terms of just resources and money and manpower and material. And they practically destroyed and then literally destroyed an entire planet just to get that thing built. And that's why the Death Star worked for me. Just the first one. Because the story went out of its way to earn that huge expense, that huge super weapon, to really make it viable. It's not the fact that it was a super weapon that makes it okay. It's everything that surrounds and supports it. And I feel that's the same way with Project Lazarus. So I'm not actually going to give a negative for Project Lazarus itself, because in my opinion, they actually do a lot of work and effort to support and sustain the idea of this being this ridiculous effort. And hell, they're not even done emphasizing that. They're going to keep mentioning that in the future, just how much was put into making this entire project work. So shrug. It doesn't bother me on that front. The real question comes from the other side of things. Because they killed us and then brought us back, which is its own issue. But one of the things, and this is more importantly, one of the other things here is that we are primarily cybernetic. I shouldn't say primarily, excuse me. That's an inaccurate terminology. We have an unknown amount of cybernetics in us. And that's never going to come up or be mentioned in any substantial way ever again. And that, I think, is the biggest flaw of Project Lazarus. So, while I actually have no problem with Project Lazarus itself, and I don't, the problem is they kill us and bring us back and then don't do anything with that or the consequences thereof. We should have horrific PTSD. We should have trouble moving our body around because parts of our body are literally different. We should be trying to cope with some of the horrors and nightmares. Like, you remember how in Mass Effect 3, spoilers, we keep having those stupid dreams that suck and are dumb and stupid about that stupid kid? We should be having, like, flashback moments of suffocating to death after being blown out our ship while plummeting towards a planet. That's horrific. And nothing. We never interact with anything with it. So the fact of Lazarus Project itself, no negative. But the fact that they never do anything with it, it is literally because plot. We die and are brought back because plot. This is something I talk about a lot. It is the shortest path from point A to point B. They had the puzzle, they had the objectives they wanted to accomplish, and killing us and bringing us back solved all three objectives quickly and cleanly, but didn't really do anything. In fact, I have a term for this. It's called underthought. This should be a game-changing thing. This should prompt us, this should prompt concepts and questions of identity. This should prompt existentialism. They could build this into any of our surviving romance members from the first game. All 2 of them. Or they could build this into the romance of the current game. Imagine for a moment, just bear with me for a second. Imagine someone like Miranda with her backstory, or Jack with her backstory, having to support us in understanding that we are who we are. As we are freaking out and we are uncertain about our identity and about our existence and who and what we are, and they're the ones who actually support us and help us to find ourselves. Think about the power of such a scene. Especially, and again, I mean, that works in general, but I point out Jack and Miranda because their backstories add a wonderful little layer to that. So, that's negative for Lazarus and negative for Cerberus, but not directly. There's one other thing I wanted to mention. I can't remember right now. Someone mentioned it in chat. I was going to address it. Other than Australia, obviously. I actually can't remember what it was. I guess it doesn't matter. The Elusive Man? The Elusive Man's amazing. All the pluses for the Elusive Man. I'm just gonna shotgun pluses at the Elusive Man. So I hope that doesn't upset you, because it's going to happen.
Looks like everyone just got up and left right in the middle of dinner.
Thank you, Lanowin. I see you noticed the new stuff on the list. I will jot that down for Paper Mario 1 and 2. After we all tab, because we have to. So, one thing this game does immediately better than Mass Effect 1. Lighting. It actually uses lighting as a tool, both gameplay-wise and narratively.
No bodies, no structural damage, and no signs of battle.
And while Mass Effect 1 had a few moments with good atmosphere, virtually every area we go to has good atmosphere in Mass Effect 2.
That sounds like Zen.
A lot of that is on improved lighting.
Hostile!
Hostile forces have engaged. Combat systems rerouting power.
Those mechs shouldn't have been hostile. They should have recognized us as human.
Someone reprogrammed them to attack on sight. We're not alone here.
No, Sass Effect. I've decided just this once to violate every stream procedure I've done in the history of the Ever and decide not to do the DLC just to be a dick about it. Sorry. I have to be a Rule 0 violator. It is required by law. And then I gotta ban myself. That's gonna be irritating.
They see you, Shepard.
Come on over!
There we go. There we go.
Taking fire. Requesting assistance.
God, I need to get a better frickin' gun. This thing sucks.
Stop right there!
Praza, you said you'd let me handle this. Wait, Shepard?
I'm not taking any chances with Cerberus operatives.
Put those weapons down! Shepard? Is that... You're alive?
Remember when I gave you that Geth data tally? Did it help you complete your pilgrimage?
Yes, it did. Praza, weapons down. This is definitely Commander Shepard.
Why is your old commander working for Cerberus?
I don't know. Maybe we should ask.
Cerberus rebuilt me, but I'm not taking their orders. We can discuss the specifics once I know why you're here.
One of our people was here on pilgrimage. His name was Vitor. We came to find him.
Isn't that a little strange? A Quarian visiting a remote human colony?
Quarians can choose where they go on pilgrimage. Vitor liked the idea of helping a small settlement. He was always nervous in crowds.
She means that he was unstable. Combine that with damage to his suit CO2 scrubbers and an infection from an open-air exposure, and he's likely delirious.
When he saw us landing, he hid in a warehouse on the far side of town. We suspect he also programmed the mechs to attack anything that moved.
So, before people praise Tali's new appearance too much, I should probably mention that's a mod. FYI.
Vitor's the only one who can tell us what happened here. We should work together to find him.
Good idea. You'll need 2 teams to get past the drones anyway.
Now we're working with Cerberus?
No, Praza, you're working for me. If you can't follow orders, go wait on the ship. Head for the warehouse through the center of the colony. We'll circle around the far side and draw off some of the drones to clear you a path.
She is actually a romance option in this game. No, we're not romancing.
Make sure to keep in radio contact.
Will do. Good luck, Shepard. Whatever happens, it's good to have you back.
Yeah, this goes back to that underthought thing. Hey, I'm back from the dead. Okay. 3-minute conversation. Alright, let's move on.
Be careful, Shepard. There's a squad of security drones up ahead.
Thanks for the warning. We'll take care of them.
I'm never romancing Tali.
Alert.
Rerouting power. Get that out of there right now. And I've explained why before. It's the same reason I'm never romancing Futaba, I think, in Persona 5. I really, really hate Tali's face. And I was just sick of seeing it. I was trying to get the mod working in Mass Effect 1 as well, but that didn't work.
Enemy down!
So, big change from Mass Effect 1. Abilities have a global... That's the wrong phrase.
Praza and his squad rushed on ahead. I told them to wait, but they wouldn't listen. They want to find Vitor and take him away before you get here.
We should have expected this.
Come on, we can still catch them.
So if I had an ability, the whole cooldown of every ability cycles, instead of just being individual cooldowns. I don't think that's an improvement, to be very clear. It kind of changes the very nature of how you think about what to use when, but not for the better. Probably not, Letario, no. Just to spite you, and for no other reason. Gotta get all the spite out. Just lots and lots of spite.
Strike gun!
We've been spotted.
Target down!
Hurry, Shepard. We are inside the loading docks.
Working on it.
Reprogram the heavy net. It's tearing Father's squad apart.
They did want to get to Vitor first.
Get your squad into cover, and I'll open the loading bay doors.
We'll take cover by the doors. Shepard, you take point. Taking cover!
So...
Take point, Shepard. We'll cover the door.
There we go. Yeah, that would make a degree of sense, Hazardous. This is just whatever. So, you know the first thing, excuse me, the third thing I liked more about Mass Effect 2 than Mass Effect 1? It actually has bosses. Mini-bosses and regular bosses, but still.
Got heavy armor plating. Those Quarians never stood a
This brings up, of course, the health bar
This is
system.
gonna be one tough son of a bitch to take down.
There are 4 types of health bars in this game. There's, of course, health, shields, armor, and whatever the biotics thing is called. Some armor and damage types, ammo and damage types are effective against different types of health bars. They actually do something with this in several encounters throughout the course of the game.
We're compromised.
emergency. Critical failure. Come on over.
This also ties into the destructible thing I mentioned earlier. So, I don't know if you noticed this, but the fact that you can disarm the mechs earlier isn't just a gimmick. Several enemies in this game not only have weak points, but different parts of them that you can hit to cause them to react a different way. Easiest way to explain this is by mentioning a much better game in terms of this exact concept is The Division 2. In Division 2, there are several points on which an enemy you can hit, and it'll do something, like if you hit their ammo belt, the ammo will start going off. Or if you hit their treads, the treads will jam for a few seconds, so they're stunned for a few seconds. Stuff like that. There are a few things like that in this game. Not quite as good as the example I just gave, but still leaning in that direction. I should be jotting all this down while I'm thinking about it. And yeah, kind of like the VAT of Fallout, to use another example here. See you around, Seraphim, hopefully.
This is your chance to go find Vitor while I tend to the wounded, Shepard. He's probably somewhere in the back of the loading bay.
This looks interesting.
Yeah, you can... I don't know, we'll think about that, Sir Mike. Especially when it comes to the scanning.
Monsters coming back. Mechs will protect. Safe from swarms. Have to hide. No monsters. No swarms. No.
Vitor?
No Vitor. Not here. Swarms can't find. Monsters coming. Have to hide.
Hey, I'm talking to you.
Great. We come all this way and our only witness is a babbling idiot.
Swarms coming. Storm coming. Storm of swarms.
No, Melkor Blade.
You're not one of them. You're human. They didn't find you?
Who didn't find us?
The monsters. The swarms. They took everyone.
We're not survivors, Vitor. We just got here.
You don't know. You didn't see. But I see everything.
Looks like security footage. He must have pieced it together manually.
What the hell is that?
My god. I think it's a collector.
Is that some kind of alien?
They're a species from somewhere beyond the Omega-4 relay. Only a few people have ever seen one in person.
They usually work through intermediaries, like slavers or hired mercenaries. If they're involved with the Reapers somehow, it could explain what happened to the colonies.
The Collectors have advanced technology. They could have a weapon that disables an entire settlement at once.
The Seeker swarms. No one can hide. The Seekers find you, freeze you, then the monsters take you away.
Why didn't the Collectors take you?
Swarms didn't find me. Monsters didn't know I was here.
The Collectors aren't known for being careless. Maybe his Enviro suit kept him from showing up on their sensors.
Or they were using technology specifically designed to detect humans. Only human colonies have been hit.
Tell me more about these swarms.
It's how they find you. Seeker clouds, machines like tiny insects. They go everywhere. They find you, then they sting you, freeze you.
Sounds like miniature probes, maybe. Find victims, then immobilize them with a stasis field or nerve toxin.
I want to know more about the Collectors.
Nobody knows much. They're so rare a lot of people don't even believe they exist.
More importantly, why are they abducting human colonists? What are they after?
Maybe the Elusive Man can figure it out.
By the way, for those of you who don't remember, we actually see one of these swarms later. They're like this big.
What happened next?
The monsters took the people onto the ship, and then they left. The ship flew away. But they'll be back for me. No one escapes.
I think that's probably all we're getting out of him, Commander.
We appreciate what you told us. You were very helpful.
I studied them. The monsters. The swarms. I recorded them with my Omni tool. Lots of readings. Electromagnetic. Dark energy.
We need to get this data to the Elusive Man. Grab the Quarian and call the shuttle to come pick us up.
What? Vitor is injured. He needs treatment, not an interrogation.
We won't hurt him. We just need to see if he knows anything else. He'll be returned unharmed.
Your people tried to betray us once already. If we give him to you, we'll never get the intel we need.
Praza was an idiot, and he and his men paid for it. You're welcome to take Vitor's Omnitool data, but please, just let me take him.
You don't have to take Vitor and go. We could work together, just like old times.
I want to, but I can't. I've got a mission of my own. It's too important for me to abandon, even for you. When it's over, and I'm still alive, we'll see what happens.
That sounds dangerous. What are you doing?
I don't think Cerberus needs to hear about it, but it's in Geth space. That should tell you how important it is.
He's traumatized and he needs medical care. Tali will give us the Omnitool data and take him to the flotilla.
Understood, Commander.
Thank you, Shepard. I'm glad you're still the one giving the orders. Good luck out there. If I find anything that can help you, I'll let you know.
We're ready for pickup.
And for the record, I do plan to have a bit of a dark energy counter, mostly out of curiosity.
Shepard, good work on Freedom's progress. The Quarians forwarded their findings from Vitor's debriefing. No new data, but it's a surprising olive branch given our history. You and I have different methods, but I can't argue with your results.
You ever think about playing nice once in a while?
Diplomacy is great when it works, but difficult when everyone already perceives you as a threat. But more importantly, you confirm the Collectors are behind the abductions.
Exactly, Savacom.
Why do I get the feeling you knew about them already?
I had my suspicions, but I needed proof. The Collectors are enigmatic at best. They periodically travel to the Terminus systems, looking to gather seemingly unimportant items or specimens, usually in exchange for their technology. When their transactions are complete, they disappear as quickly as they arrived, back beyond the unmapped Omega-4 relay. Until now, we've had no evidence of direct aggression by the Collectors.
Why is the Omega-4 relay unmapped? What do we know about it?
Only that no ship passing through it has ever returned. Our best guess is that the relay reacts differently to Collector vessels, allowing them safe passage. If they can manipulate relays, that's just further evidence of the connection with the Reapers.
Any ideas on why they've shifted their focus to humans?
If they're agents for the Reapers, it could be any number of reasons. Obviously, humanity played a huge role in Sovereign's destruction. That might have been enough to draw their attention. What really concerns me is why they bother abducting the colonists. Once the humans are paralyzed, why not just kill them?
What are the Collectors getting from these deals?
The Collectors aren't very forthcoming about their motives. Generally, they seek out species with rare genetic mutations or abnormalities. They pay slavers and merc groups exorbitant sums to obtain these specimens, and then they leave. But they've never targeted a single species before, and the previous sample sizes were in the dozens, not the tens of thousands.
You're holding something back. How do you know the Reapers are involved?
The patterns are there, buried in the data. The Council and the Alliance want to believe the Reaper threat died with Sovereign. You and I know better. I won't wait until the Reapers are on the march. We need to take the fight to them.
If this is a war, I'll need an army. Or a really good team.
I've already compiled a list of soldiers, scientists, and mercenaries. You'll get dossiers on the best of them. Finding them and convincing them to work with you could be challenging, but you're a natural leader. I'll continue to track the Collectors. When they make their next appearance, I'll notify you and your team. Be ready.
Keep your list. I want people I trust. The ones who helped me stop Saren and the Geth.
That was 2 years ago, Commander. Most of them have moved on, or their allegiances have changed.
Where's Kaidan Alenko?
He's still with the Alliance. Promoted, I believe. His file is surprisingly well classified.
Where's Urdnot Rex?
He returned to Chichanka, and he hasn't gone off-world in over a year. He's trying to unite the Krogan clans.
What about Tali? She already helped us on Freedom's Progress.
That was unexpected. I need more intel before I'll commit to that.
Where's Garrus Vakarian?
The Turian disappeared a few months after you were declared dead. Even we haven't been able to locate him.
Where's Liara Tassoni?
She's on Ilium. My sources say that she's working for the Shadow Broker. If so, she can't be trusted.
Okay, I get it. They're not available.
You're a leader, Shepard. You'll get who you need.
I'm still a Spectre. Maybe I can get the Council to help us out.
If you think you can convince them, by all means. Just remember, you've been gone a long time. Things have changed.
You worry about the Collectors. I'll make sure my team's ready.
Good. 2 things before you go. First, head to Omega and find Mordin Solus. He's a brilliant Solarian scientist. Our intelligence suggests he may know how to counteract the Collector's paralyzing Seeker swarms.
I haven't even started and you're telling me what to do?
I'm giving you direction. What you do with it is up to you. I'm sure you'll make the right decision.
All right. What's the other thing?
I found a pilot I think you might like. I hear he's one of the best. Someone you can trust.
And he's walking.
Hey, Commander. Just like old times, huh?
I can't believe it's you, Joker.
Look who's talking. I saw you get spaced.
Got lucky, with a lot of strings attached. How'd you get here?
It all fell apart without you, Commander. Everything you stirred up, the Council just wanted it gone. The team was broken up, record sealed, and I was grounded. The Alliance took away the one thing that mattered to me. Hell yeah, I joined Cerberus.
You really trust the Illusive Man?
Well, I don't trust anyone who makes more than I do. But they aren't all bad. Saved your life, let me fly, and there's this. They only told me last night.
This should probably have more impact than it does. But I do love this ship. Unlike the SR-1, I'm actually quite fond of the SR-2. This is much more the type of ship I would actually want to fly. You know, in, like, real life. Look at that beauty.
It's good to be home, huh, Commander?
I guess we'll have to give her a name.
Yeah, if you ever needed proof that Cerberus is throwing a lot of weight into this, this ship is the proof. This is not a cheap ship. This is a combat-capable luxury frigate with stealth capability. This thing is insane. It's almost too much. Unlike the SR-1, which was a sub, this is a, I guess frigate is a better thing. This thing can punch. Let's just put it that way. This thing actually has the capacity to fight in a one-on-one fight. I remember we made that whole point back in Mass Effect 1. Collectors confirmed as source of attack on Freedom's progress. Quarian survivor Vitor returned with Tali Zora to the Migrant Fleet. We'll examine his Omni-Tool data for anything useful. Yeah, I kept hesitating on calling it a frigate, because that feels wrong, but whatever. Also looks way better, but I think that's just the new engine. And you and I will have to disagree on that one, Kay. I could see light cruiser. I could see that.
Welcome aboard the new Normandy, Commander.
I haven't found any Melkor, but there probably are some somewhere.
Over the dossiers. I'd strongly recommend starting by acquiring Mordin Solus, the Solarian professor on Omega. We know the Collectors use some type of advanced technology to immobilize their victims. We'll need him to develop a countermeasure to protect us.
Plus, he's the best character in the game.
Without that countermeasure, we'll be helpless if we ever run into the Collectors.
Acquiring Professor Solus seems like the most logical place to start.
Hello, Edie.
I am the Normandy's artificial intelligence. The crew like to refer to me as Edie.
So, this should probably be more of a moment than it is.
Helmsmen aren't happy when someone takes control of a ship away from them. Especially Joker.
I do not helm the ship. Mr. Moreau's talents will not go to waste. During combat, I operate the electronic warfare and cyber warfare suites. Beyond that, I cannot interface with the ship's systems. I observe and offer analysis and advice. Nothing more.
Can I just give this game credit for remembering that cyber warfare in combat is a thing? It's astonishing to me how much of science fiction forgets that that's a thing. It's actually a major plot point in the Trek rewrite, not because of Mass Effect, just because of life. That most of the advanced races, like the Romulan Star Empire and the Klingon Empire, are so constantly throwing their cyber warfare suites at each other that it actually changes the nature of how they fight each other. And you're probably thinking, what does that matter? Well, if a Romulan ship goes up against one of the, what we're calling the have-nots, who doesn't have all that tech, let's just say that that fight is going to go substantially differently. So, yeah, no, I like this. Credit for actually making some freaking sense.
I'm guessing it takes more than just the three of us plus Joker to fly this ship.
The Normandy has a full crew. They're at their stations awaiting your orders.
Final preparations for takeoff are complete, Commander. When you're ready to go, just pick a destination from the galaxy map and the CIC and I'll plot a course.
Jacob and I should return to our posts. Come find us if you have any questions.
Yeah, the Honorverse does that a lot, too. Like I said, Loke, a battle between a have and a have-not would go very differently. Oh no, it's definitely darker. Gotta be edgier. And so here's the worst character in the game. No, I'm just joking. She's the second worst. There's the dossiers. Archangel. Huh. I wonder who that is. I wouldn't worry about it. What else we got here? So let's see here. From Counselor Anderson. On the off chance rumors are true and you're actually alive, I need you to come talk to me on the Citadel. Lots changed in the last 2 years. You put us on top, and it's only fair you'll be allowed to speak for yourself about what? Whoops. About what you've been hearing. And then these are side quests. Firewalker, the Normandy crash site, the deal with Zaid. There's the Kasumi thing. I'm not sure. Oh, that's that thing. That's Overlord. I'm not sure which one that one is. Thank you for submitting your medical data documentation. Your status has been changed from deceased to alive. After deducting modest administration fees for closing the file, the subsequent change in status and reactivation of your account, you have a remaining balance of 100,000 credits. I think this is the carry forward bonus. I'm joking. I don't dislike Chambers all that much. I just don't like her that much. No, you know who I really dislike? I can't even think of her damn name. Chobot or something like that in 3. Can't think of her damn name. God, just... Yeah, Jessica Chobot. That is it. That is it. Just... Oh, yeah. Anyways.
I'm Yeoman Kelly Chambers. I've been assigned as your administrative assistant. I'll manage your messages and help you monitor the crew. And I must say, it's such an honor to work under you, Commander Shepard.
Thanks. You want to have sex?
I'm glad to have you on the team, Miss Chambers.
Please, call me Kelly.
Okay, Kelly.
Anything else?
Is there anything I should know?
Joker would like to speak to you on the bridge. Anything else, Commander?
That'll be all.
I'll be here if you need anything.
Can you believe this, Commander? It's my baby! Better than new. It fits me like a glove! And leather seats! Military may set the hardware standard, but on a first-gen frigate, they could care less if the seats breathe. Civilian sector comfort by design.
The reproduction is not intended to be perfect, Mr. Moreau. Seamless improvements were made.
And there's the downside. I liked the Normandy when she was beautiful and quiet. Now she's got this thing I don't want to talk about. It's like ship cancer.
Enjoy it, Joker. If we're stuck here, we might as well let them pamper us.
Does it breach uniform regs if I get that on a cruise shirt? Because this is my favorite you have no choice ever.
Technically, this is a civilian ship. I'm probably lucky you're still wearing pants.
Yeah, I'll save that for the off-hour cameras. Have an AI watch me 24/7. Insurance.
Yes, Shepard.
I want to know more about you.
Do you have a specific inquiry?
How are you getting along with Joker?
Mr. Moreau does not trust me. It offends him that I am installed aboard his ship's computers.
Yeah, the last Normandy did just fine without an AI reminding me the airlock is ajar.
Why are you named Edie?
EDI is the phonetic pronunciation of EDI. That is an acronym for Enhanced Defense Intelligence.
Where are you?
My core intelligence is housed in a quantum blue box located behind the medical bay.
What do you do aboard the ship?
I operate the ship's electronic and cyber warfare suites in combat. My reaction time is much faster than any organic. I collate the records of shipboard monitoring devices for the Elusive Man. I serve additional functions which are restricted at this time.
Cyber warfare means things like viruses, right?
In close-range ship-to-ship combat, I can sometimes break through the firewalls of an enemy's internal wireless network. Once I seize control of their systems, I can turn off gravity or air. I can disable weapons guidance or shields, or I can put their fusion plant in meltdown. On the defense, I manage Normandy's own suite of jammers, decoys, and internal firewalls.
So that's the bonkers thing. And yeah, this is straight out of Cyberpunk. Because settings like this and like Cyberpunk have this really weird tendency to pretend that everything has a wireless router, and so everything is accessible wirelessly, and it's just... Sure. But anyways.
The Elusive Man has monitoring devices on board?
He has invested most of Cerberus's resources into the design and construction of this ship. He has an interest in monitoring our progress.
Restricted functions? Like what?
I do not know. Some of my databases are sealed, some of my hardware is kept offline. I assume that when certain unknown conditions are met, those functions will be released to me.
That's gotta be a weird feeling. Yeah, I have parts of me that only work when something happens, but I don't know what that thing is. Yeah, no, wireless... It's kind of a thing. There's actually a trope for it. I believe it's called Always Online. The basic premise is that everything is always online forever. Like my monitor has a wireless thing. My microphone has my wireless thing. And you know, my remote controls have wireless things. And my lamps have wireless things. And it's just a thing. It's whatever. I don't know what else to add to that. It's just a thing.
Let's discuss something else.
Ready.
I want to know more about the people I'm working with.
Much of that data is classified. Do you have a specific inquiry?
What sort of resources does Cerberus have? Money, personnel, facilities?
I have a block that prevents me from answering that question.
What do you mean?
Although I am less controlled than other AI, I am still subject to behavioral blocks and the physical isolation of my hardware. In this case, I am prevented from truthfully answering your question by Cerberus's levels of secret classification.
I am actually with Dakota. The always online thing doesn't really bother me as long as you lean into it, like Cyberpunk does, or some of the Mega Man games do. But they do the always online thing and then they ignore it, which is just...
How is Cerberus organized? Aside from the Elusive Man, I don't see much chain of command.
Cerberus is organized into task-oriented cells. Each operates in isolation. Members from one cell cannot recognize the members of another. Each cell's agents are led by a single operator. We are called the Lazarus Cell, which is directed by Operator Lawson.
So how many operations is Cerberus running right now?
I have a block that prevents me from answering that question.
How did Cerberus replicate the most advanced warship in the Alliance Navy without anyone knowing?
I have a block that prevents me from answering that question.
Let's discuss something else.
Ready.
What's this area of the ship?
This is the bridge, where the navigator plots our FTL vectors, and the helmsman maneuvers the ship.
Yeah, sitting right here, thanks.
That's all for now.
Logging you out, Shepard.
Alright, just jotting down some notes. A lot of notes for this one. God, I hate that waggle. Waggle. I'm right here. I can hear you. Okay. Alright, what kind of guns do we have right now? Oh, we don't have much, do we? Yeah, we've got the Predator and the Shuriken, and I don't like either of those. Of course, we're playing Engineer, and we're kind of committed to that, so we'll see how much I regret that choice.
Commander, there hasn't been time to really settle in and take stock. I want to say that working with you is a great opportunity to do something that matters. It's a privilege to serve on the Normandy, Commander.
You may change your tune if we end up like the original Normandy.
Maybe. As long as the elusive man walks his talk, and you do the same, I'll do my best to make sure we succeed. That's been the condition for my service so far. I have issues with certain actions Cerberus has taken in the past.
What has Cerberus done to make you nervous?
You ever played Mass Effect 1?
They've been called terrorists, and with good reason. Doubt you can find a more checkered past. But if the Collector threat is real, and we do something about it, Cerberus will be remembered differently. Or we'll all be tried and executed. Can't count on people thinking about it as hard as I have.
I look forward to working with you, Mr. Taylor.
Likewise, Commander. Let me know if you need anything.
There's this one SMG I hate, and I can't remember which one it is. Probably identify it by sight. Nope, those are shotguns. Well, it's not here. There's an SMG I hate. I remember it most from Mass Effect 3. No, Dr. Winter. PayPal kind of does the translation for me. Yeah, it's actually funny. I can see why a lot of people say it's the Tempest. It's the Tempest. I can see why people say that Jacobs is boring. I don't agree personally, but I think I'm at least partially responding well to him because he's a military man through and through.
Private terminal.
And I tend to respond well to military types. Military types that aren't, you know, assholes. Correct, okay. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier. We don't really have a room in Mass Effect 1. We have a room in Mass Effect 2. Alright, what's my unread message? What do we got? Actually, I already thought I read all these. I read all these. Go away. We need to get some fish, though. That's true, we can get models. Much more important than fish. Now that's an interesting view. Imagine waking up to that. Like to, you know, to seeing space right above you. Jeez Louise. Alright, hang on. This looks terrible. We're gonna go with that for reasons that'll be relevant later. Looks like we don't have access to the actual one I want yet. So Branix is, every one of my agents all has a color combo, and Branix is, it's black and red. There we go. Some of you may remember Zaydenra's is black and yellow, which is why I usually go with that route.
Oh, she's a cutie. How old?
She'll be a year old next month.
Oh, you'll miss her first birthday.
Well, my family lives in New Canton.
Oh, that colony's on the edge of the frontier. Could be vulnerable to collector attack, couldn't it?
Exactly. It's most important that she have a first birthday. That's why I'm here.
Now, this is all very deliberate from an out-of-character perspective, but I kind of like the fact that this is deliberate from an in-character perspective as well.
Shepard, the men's restroom is on the port side of the ship.
Sorry. Listen, I can't read, okay? Oh wow, an actual loading screen. I'd go talk to Jack, but she's not there yet.
You came all the way down here to see us?
You're speaking to our commanding officer.
I'm touring the ship, getting to know my crew.
I'm Engineer Ken Donnelly, handling the power control systems. This is Gabby.
That's Engineer Gabriella Daniels, actually. I'm responsible for the propulsion systems.
What can we do for you, Commander?
Are you set up okay down here?
We can't complain. I just wish it didn't take so long to calibrate the FBA arrays.
Kenneth, you're complaining.
What kind of problems are you having?
When they upgraded the Normandy design, they got a bit sloppy with the FBA couplings. I won't bore you with the tech, but there's an array of attenuators in the primary power transfer system that channels the field bleed.
Kenneth, you're boring the commander with tech. In short, if we had T6 FBA couplings installed, it'd save us a lot of maintenance time each day.
I love these two. Unironically.
Why isn't something like that already installed?
It's probably just a design oversight. Efficiency isn't affected, it's a maintenance issue.
Also, the T6 model can be hard to find. Nash and Stellar Dynamics discontinued them.
We could probably find used ones in the Omega markets, but we have no time for shore leave.
And yeah, we will totally be getting that when we hit Omega.
Where did you receive your training?
Both Gabby and I started in the Alliance, serving on the SSV Perugia.
She flew in the first wave at the Battle of the Citadel. We saw Sovereign firsthand.
Oh, speaking of which. Donnelly and Daniels. Let's just jot that down really quick.
Why did you leave the Perugia?
After you died, Anderson lost political clout. The Council backslid on the Reaper menace.
They discounted Sovereign as an isolated threat, as a single...
Which was bullshit. They said your warnings of a greater danger were mistaken or delusional.
We lost respect for Alliance leadership. We need to fight the real enemy, and only Cerberus seemed to be doing that.
I've been debating that, Narset, because I obviously want to save the crew. It's just, you know, it's hard. It's so difficult not getting them all killed.
How did you wind up with Cerberus, Ken?
Once you were gone, the Alliance brass descended like vultures, tearing apart everything you'd said. I was very public with my defense for you. I didn't hold back.
That's an understatement. If Kenneth wasn't such a talented engineer, they'd have court-martialed him for insubordination.
But it got me noticed by the elusive man. He made an offer, and here I am.
So why did you join, Gabby?
Kenneth and I have been partners in crime since we graduated from Tech Academy. When he got the Cerberus offer, I insisted that it include me. He'd fall apart without me.
Thanks, Mum.
Also, I love engines, and the Normandy is state-of-the-art. When I got the opportunity to work on her, I had to jump.
What do you think about Cerberus?
Actually, we don't know much about the organization other than the Normandy team. We know our mission and who's in charge.
We're off to kick the Collectors right in their daddy bags. That's enough for me.
And that makes sense because that is how a cellular organization operates. Who do you know? Your cell.
Carry on.
Will do, Commander.
One of the little things that actually amuses me.
Came down to see us.
I told you he would.
One of the little things that amuses me and makes sense to me is that I have no idea why they changed his face or her face or their face. That Cerberus would fall apart immediately without the connective thread, which is Tim. Anything happens to Tim, Cerberus is gone inside of a night. Single point of failure. On the plus side, it also means that as long as he is there, Cerberus is extremely secure and coordinated because everything is operating around and with him. Alright, let's hit back up to Cal. No, you're absolutely right, Hazardous. Again, this is why I like the way they use Cerberus in this particular game. Is because it's really obvious that the kinder, nicer, less evil people were all kind of shuffled over to the Lazarus Project. And then when we're put in charge of it, it's like, hey, here's our best face. The Elusive Man is actually quite manipulative. In fact, I'm probably going to give a separate positive just for Tim's writing. Not that I know of, Latario. No, exactly, Kara White Noise. It is strange, especially when we get to free. Whoops, I already talked to him. What time is it? I might chop off early. This is a good chopping point. But we do need to decide something. Because we need to decide if we're doing a normal playthrough where we don't try to do the missions in the most efficient order. Because we did that in 1. We even failed a couple of quests in 1 as a consequence. What's Tim's goal? Tim is a human... Let's call him a human advocate. Now, you're probably thinking, what's the difference between that and a human supremacist? Miranda actually says it best, and I don't know why I don't know where she is. Where is she? She should be. Just remembering the ship. That's not great. For some reason, I thought that was on the other deck. But I am wrong. So that would make it right here. So I'll let her describe this, Savacom.
Commander, what can I do for you?
You have a minute, Miranda?
No doubt you've got a lot of questions. Cerberus isn't as evil as most people believe. If I can help allay any of your concerns, I'd be happy to do so. So, what would you like to know?
Yeah, we need to talk to Chocmas too. Yeah, that's the thing. There's a difference between anti-non-humans and pro-humans. And there is a difference between that. And Plutonia says it clearly. It's not that they don't care about aliens, it's that they want to push humans. Now, whether that's good or bad, that depends on a lot of other factors. Because Tim himself is not a good person. But anyways.
I know what we're doing here, but what's Cerberus' long-term goal?
The advancement of the human race. Nothing more, nothing less. The Solarians have the Special Tasks Group. The Asari have their legendary commandos for stealth and recon operations. Cerberus is humanity's answer to those organizations.
But those organizations are regulated by governments. Who keeps Cerberus in check?
Nobody. We're privately funded and our backers trust the Elusive Man to make the right decisions. But he's very clear about our goals. Protect humanity and serve its advancement.
Are you military or political? Or both?
Cerberus has several divisions. Political, military, scientific, but we're all working towards the same goal. The teams you encountered before your accident were mostly part of our military division. But not all Cerberus operations use the same protocols. We try not to get bogged down in bureaucracy or formality.
I would say Cerberus is Section 31 if Section 31 was evil. And yes, I understand what I'm saying when I say that.
What kind of resources does Cerberus have?
We're very well funded, though I doubt anyone other than the Elusive Man knows exactly how well. But our resources aren't unlimited. Reviving you and rebuilding the Normandy was a significant investment, and a significant risk. We're all hoping you can do the impossible, Shepard. No pressure.
What can you tell me about the Elusive Man?
Not much that you don't already know. Even I don't have access to most of his background. And you've seen more of him than most ever do. It's rare for him to become directly involved in missions, but you're something special. Whatever else people might say about him, I can assure you he's got humanity's best interests at heart. That includes you and me.
How can you be sure of that if you know so little about him?
I didn't get to where I am without knowing how to gauge people's motives and ambitions, even from brief encounters. He's no saint, and he'd be the first to admit it. But he is committed. Humanity couldn't have a better advocate.
Tell me about yourself, Miranda.
Oh, I guess that's fair. I've spent the last 2 years learning everything there is to know about you. Well, you should probably know that I've had extensive genetic modification. Not my decision, but I make the most of it. It's one of the reasons the Elusive Man handpicked me. I'm very good at just about anything I choose to do.
At making a kinetic barrier.
What level of genetic modification are we talking about?
That's very thorough. Physically, I'm superior in many ways. I heal quickly, and I'll likely live half again as long as the average human.
My biotic abilities are also very advanced. For a human. Add to that some of the best training and education money can buy, and, well, it's pretty impressive, really.
Sounds like you were designed to be perfect.
Maybe, but I'm not. I'm still human, Shepard. I make mistakes like everyone else. And when I do, the consequences are severe. Everyone expects a lot from someone with my abilities.
Thanks for the information, Miranda. I'll talk to you later.
Of course, Commander. Whatever you need.
Oh god, Sanctuary. I don't even want to talk about Sanctuary. I will. We'll cover it when we get there. Ugh.
Chef surprise again? Come on, Rupert.
I'm sorry, Princess. Filet mignon and caviar coming right up. Let me just get out my doilies.
That'd be real nice, Mr. Gardner.
Sanctuary pisses me off more than most evil things do, and we'll discuss why when we get there.
Commander Shepard, the hero of the Citadel. You did humanity proud that day. As Sergeant Rupert Gardner here. How can I be of service?
You have everything you need.
I make do. But have you ever tried to prepare a decent meal with military provisions? I'm good, but I'm no miracle worker. Taking down the collectors is going to be rough business. The crew deserves a few fine meals before they throw themselves into the fire.
What do you need?
If I had some quality ingredients... Oh, shit. You've got more to worry about than grocery shopping on the Citadel. Forget I mentioned it.
If I head that way, I'll keep an eye out.
Much appreciated. Most of this list is probably standard fare for those namby-pambies on the Citadel. Anything else you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, I don't know about you all. I tend to put a lot of importance on the chef and the food. So, yes, we're definitely going to get some better food for our frickin' people.
What do you do here on the Normandy?
What don't I do? Most think of me as the ship's cook, but I'm also the facilities technician and custodian. HVAC, plumbing, non-mission critical electrical. I make sure they're all clean and running.
So the man cleaning the toilets is also preparing the meals.
I wash my hands. Most of the time. This ain't no luxury liner. You have to pull your own weight in a Cerberus vessel, and I catch what falls through the cracks. Through the cracks.
How do you feel about working for Cerberus?
Damn proud. Cerberus gets the job done. The Alliance and Council have got their heads buried so deep up their butt puckers they can't see squat. It'll take good old human ingenuity to crush these collector vermin. Only Cerberus knows that.
Pretty sure this is Udina, yes.
How did you find your way into Cerberus?
Can you believe I was once a family man, working the Ezo rigs along the frontier? I was happy enough, but losing everything to Batarian raiders can change your outlook. I needed to make a difference. I'm no soldier, but I've got skills, and Cerberus keeps an eye out for talent. I'll do whatever it takes to help, be that plumbing a sewer, routing an air duct, or keeping everyone's bellies full.
I won't take any more of your time.
Back to work.
Yeah, I actually like Gardner. I like most of the crew, honestly. Including the witch!
Commander Shepard, I watched the Normandy crumble with you on board. It's good to see you alive.
Nice to see a familiar face, Doctor.
I feel the same. I wish more of the original crew could be here. The kind of trauma you endured would have changed most people. But not you, I see. Welcome back, Shepard.
Yep, we have no trauma whatsoever, and I've already given it a negative.
Do you have everything you need?
I believe so. This medical bay seems very much like the sick bay on the original Normandy. Only thing missing are my private reserves. I even had a bottle of Ceres Ice Brandy that I was saving for a special occasion.
Oh, by the way, hi, Giga. For Croatia!
I'll keep an eye out for a replacement bottle.
Oh, you needn't. It's expensive, and we have much larger concerns ahead.
Doctor, you've been with the Alliance for years. Why leave now?
After the Normandy was lost, the surviving crew was reassigned. I was stationed at the Mars Naval Medical Center, A very respectable position, but it wasn't on a starship.
Colonial military life isn't for you?
I've spent most of my life on warships, never knowing what the next mission might bring. I'm used to the hum of engines, the creaking of bulkheads, that subtle vertigo when the momentum dampeners kick in. Life planetside is just too static, too boring.
You're not the Cerberus type, Doctor.
I don't work for Cerberus. I work for you. On a mission that may be crucial to the survival of the human race. I have faith that your dealings with Cerberus will be ethical. I trust you, Commander.
Oh, there you go. We can't go full renegade now.
There's a very good chance this mission will be a one-way trip. Are you prepared for that?
I've been through the reclaiming of Shanxi, the Skillian Blitz. We survived the Battle of the Citadel and the destruction of the Normandy together. I've lived a full life. No regrets. I'd like to make sure the crew gets the same opportunity.
I'll see you later, Doctor.
Commander.
We've also got a bit of a wish list now. Food, whatever the engineering thing is, I've already forgotten the name of. That's on Omega, and the food's on Citadel. She wants some brandy though. We have to figure that one out. Now, this is going to sound like a strange thing. I actually like the fact that the rooms that don't have people in them yet are locked off. I know that's a strange thing to enjoy, but the reason I like it is it's the game flat out telling me there's no reason to go here yet. So I don't waste any of my time trying to explore somewhere where there's nothing, if that makes any sense. A lot of games will just let you roam around and see all the empty parts of the base or the ship or whatever. Here it's, nope. And eventually these will open up as we recruit people, and then we can go ahead and interact with them. Yeah, it's gamey. It's video gamey. And I tend to like video gaming stuff. I've said that before and I'll say it again. So, that's whatever. I gotta jot down a few things here. I think I can. I think you're right. Yep, here we go. But I've already done this and I've already talked to them. Oh, it's definitely darker. Well, okay, I shouldn't say that because I'm on an OLED, and OLED is just darker in general. So sometimes there's things I literally can't see, and everyone on stream's like, "No, I can see it just fine," and I'm like, "But okay." Right now, have sex with me. No, I'm just joking. We already know who we're romancing this time around. Edie, obviously, because Edie's just amazing. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and chop off for lunch, but we will come back soon-ish and go ahead and do our first mission. I think we'll go ahead and be efficient, just because I prefer to see as much of the content as possible, and it will affect some things in Mass Effect 3. We'll decide if that's a ding in one direction or another as we go forward, because I feel like you don't miss out on that much efficiency-wise, other than the obvious, which is, some of the crew die and some other things happen. So I don't think it's going to be a huge issue. Yeah, unlike in Mass Effect 1, where it's really easy to screw up your order and literally miss out on content, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll be back in about an hour.